have the pleasure here at the ICD to welcome His Excellency the Ambassador of Honduras, Ramon Custodio Espinoza. And as a follow-up after the conference, we'd like to ask you some questions. As based on your experience as the Ambassador of Honduras to Germany, how would you personally define cultural diplomacy? What does it mean to you? And could you actually give an example of how you've seen the bilateral relations between these two countries strengthened through means of cultural diplomacy?
Very interesting question. I like it. To tell you the truth, for me, cultural diplomacy is involved in everything that we do in life. If you don't have the culture and you don't have the diplomacy to see the problems and look for the solutions, then cultural diplomacy cannot be implemented. The definition for me, it's very simple. Cultural diplomacy, it's the conflict resolution of events that one has not only in the relationship between countries, but also at a personal level and in your families. It's involved in every step of the way of your lifestyle.
Well, and there's a second question we would like to ask you. Taking into account the strategic geographical position of Honduras in Latin America, its wealth in natural resources, as we have seen, how is the country currently responding to the economic crisis?
It's, first of all, Honduras is strategically located. There wouldn't be an American continent without Honduras, because Honduras ties both the north and the south. That's the reason why we are so strategically located. With regards to the economic crisis and how have we responded to it, very interesting. We have one of the most important ports in the whole wide world, and that is Puerto Cortés. Puerto Cortés has a CSI naming, which is Container Security Initiative. Very few ports in the world have this status. When I was in Washington, D.C., I helped the team of Hondurans that were negotiating this status. It means that even when there is, and I hope there will never be another 9/11 in the United States, the containers with products that are coming out of Puerto Cortés can enter the United States with no problems, in spite of the fact that their borders would be sealed. Honduras has the only port in Central America. Therefore, every product in case of this scenario that is in Central America, every product in Central America would have to go through Puerto Cortés on its way to the United States. That's one of the ways that we are foreseeing not to fall in any economic crisis, such as we have seen here in Europe on behalf of Greece, Italy, Ireland, Spain, Portugal. And another way of dealing with this is through the FTAs. We have a free trade agreement with the United States. We have an association agreement with the European Union, which includes a commercial pillar, and we're trying to attract investment by creating opportunities for them to come to Honduras. Make it easy to come and invest, not difficult and making them going away. Honduras has a very strong position when it comes to the textiles and apparel business, and we are strengthening that area, and we're strengthening the agriculture area. We have a very big coffee industry, very big industry in the area of rice, meats, and so on and so forth.
Thank you.
As a third question, you mentioned in your speech the importance of the presence of civil society in negotiations. So we would like to know how can they enhance their participation in political dialogue and further establish collaboration?
Yeah. To begin with, civil society, without civil society, there wouldn't be any voices of the ones that are not being heard. Civil society is important because, as the word says, civil society, the people, the ones who have no access to being heard, these civil societies represent their interest. I think that civil society is important. I think civil society is of vital importance in a democratic state, for the reasons that I mentioned before. But more importantly, it has been demonstrated as a first exercise between Europe and Central America that civil society have had an opportunity to express themselves before the negotiations, during the negotiations, and after the negotiations. Therefore, their role is very important for the strengthening of the association agreement, as an example, between Europe and Central America. And I think that it's not only a show of strength, but rather a show of the opportunity that those voices that can't be heard, they have an opportunity to be heard through civil society organizations.
Thank you so much for your answer.
And as a last question, we would like to ask you, in terms of foreign investments, Honduras currently relies heavily on investments from the United States. What actions, you spoke a little bit about that now, but what complementary actions or what specific actions should be taken in order to increase investment from European countries?
That's why we have an association agreement. Though the commercial pillar is not the most important one for both Europe and Central America, because it is the political dialogue and cooperation side, as it has been explained throughout the negotiations. The commercial side is also important because it'll attract investment. It'll open up opportunities for investment in Central America. I think that the investment is going to come by the opportunities that are being opened through this pillar of commerce in the association agreement. And I think that we're already seeing those opportunities come. I think that it is important for everybody to understand that without this association agreement, the investment could not be increased. Yes, our neighbor to the north, the United States, is closest, but we're also diversifying our economy and our opportunities because we don't want to have our eggs in one basket. I mean, Europe is also expanding their opportunities by having agreements with other regions and other countries. But be that as it may, Honduras, part of Central America, is in a very strategic global position because we're not only part of a market of 55 million people, but also we are part of a region that slowly but surely, in spite of the crisis that we may have had economically, socially, or politically, we're going forward. None of those crises stopped the European Union and the Central Americans to have this opportunity in the future through the association agreement, and in this case for foreign investment to come to Honduras and Central America.
Thank you. That was a very interesting insight. Thank you for your time. It was an honor and privilege to have you here with us today. And thank you very much.
The honor and the pleasure is mine, and thank you for the questions and the opportunities that you have given me today. Thank you.